It is the 11th of the 3rd, 2013. This is today's climate change update. 2 years ago today, Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant went crazy. And we all know the story, especially if you've been following this channel for any amount of time. 2 years later, here are the headlines on E&E News. That's all I'm going to cover today. U.S. Navy sailor. They had to remove 3 layers off skin off my hands and arms after Fukushima exposure. He was treated almost as if I had the plague. And the story goes on where he had to go through decontamination 3 separate times where they put very coarse soap on, to get the oil off, kind of soap on his skin 3 times, and nobody was allowed to touch him until the machine quit beeping. Very interesting story indeed. Arnie Gunderson, dun, da, da. The containment vessel exploded at Fukushima reactor number 2. Quote, there's definitely a large crack, and that is on the containment vessel in the nuclear reactor, aka core breach. 2 years later. Live on the BBC, they don't know what state the Fukushima reactor cores are in, quote unquote. 2 years later and they don't know. Watch live stream of Fukushima symposium in New York City, where the bullshit continues, I am sure. Fukushima worker, quote, even an elementary school kid knows TEPCO always lies. Quote, we have been fooled by the government. And that is an understatement for sure. We've been documenting the cover-up for the last 2 years on this channel, if you've bothered to pay attention at all. The AFP, disturbing, relentless flow of tsunami debris to last for years on the United States West Coast. Expert, most of it's harmless, except obviously any radioactive material from Fukushima. TV Japan radiation expert says drastic measures are needed. Radioactive contamination now permanently in the ecosystem. Fukushima forests must be cut down ASAP. And if you've done any kind of research at all, the prefecture of Fukushima is a very forested area. And these huge, beautiful, ancient trees all over the countryside and on the side of the mountains and whatnot. This scientist is saying that the contamination is throughout the entire ecosystem. It's in the pollen, and it would just be better off to cut everything down to the surface and start over again. The reality sets in. Report, animation foreshadowed Fukushima meltdowns, question mark. An eerie coincidence noted by many, including musicians themselves, shown in Tokyo night before 3/11, and they've got a video on that. Japanese professor, leaders of Fukushima City refused to evacuate population of 400,000 after being asked by the government. Media didn't report this, thinking it would cause panic. You think? Poster inside Fukushima, this is not the end. This is the beginning of a new nuclear age, and I couldn't agree more, with half-lives reaching into the tens of thousands. You got to remember, it's not just cesium and iodine we're dealing with here, and plutonium, and up to 1,300 other different isotopes that accumulate every single day. So these low measures that they're talking about that is not harmful, here we are on year number 2 and counting, and it's just going to get more and more from here. TEPCO to wait to decommission Fukushima plant. Official, the radiation will be reduced, so they want to wait now for the radiation to reduce to do any serious decontamination at Fukushima Daiichi, and they've got a 40-year plan now, which is not even completely insane, the plan itself. They really don't know what the hell they're doing or where they're going with this. It's just a big shell game at the moment. Aaron Brockovich, this is about the Louisiana sinkhole down in the Bayou Corn. Residents near giant sinkhole need to get out. Serious gas pressure, potential for explosion. Homes and land are now useless. This is according to the law firm that Brockovich represents or whatnot. Basically, the legal advice is get the hell out of Bayou Corn. WSJ, concerned there are cracks in Fukushima reactor buildings leaking irradiated water into the Pacific. I've been reporting on this for the last few years as well. The core has broken through containment. The corium, which is all the goop that's all melted and minged together, has melted through the building into the ground underneath the nuclear reactors and seeping directly into the Pacific Ocean. And a lot of these stories are basis there now. They can't hide the radiation that's seeping out of what is Fukushima, and they're coming up with all these crazy stories. Associated Press, over 300 million tons of nuclear waste in Fukushima alone. Smoking mounds of disaster debris, possibly from spontaneous combustion, because you got to remember we had one that went boom, number 3, and number 1. Molten fuel could be outside Fukushima reactor. Experts concerned it could not be cooling properly, and you got to remember this is 2 years after the fact. They're coming up with these bullshit stories. 2 years could be. We don't know. Give me a break. Back to Louisiana. Giant sinkhole to more than double in size. It's probably going to take out Highway 70. You could look at loss of life. They have videos on that, of course, and they're talking there is a sinkhole number 2. We have to have plans in place where we can move fast. So this Bayou Corn is expanding beyond their ability to cover up what is going on. Man dies after being electrocuted at controversial new nuclear plant. Joys, joys. Fukushima workers. Smoke was pouring out of unit number 1 before the tsunami hit, which to say, no doubt, the quake crippled the reactors, could torpedo Japan's attempts to restart nuclear plants. Nuclear power is a crime against humanity. Shut every single one of those plants down, dock every ship with one of those nuclear reactors on it, and decommission them. Let's take care of this mess now and not save it for the great-great-great-grandkids to be mutated slime balls about it. Just insanity. The insanity what you are doing to the human race in particular altogether. Video, 200,000 protest nuclear power in Tokyo. Too little, too late. And finally, Gunderson, I repeat, significant new material will be presented at Fukushima Symposium. Live stream starts at 9 a.m. Eastern, and they have quotes or links to that as well. Again, 2 years after the fact, what do? Here we are, still going through the bullshit. Heads up, and enjoy your tuna fish. Enjoy what you can, everybody. Thanks.